It's now 3 p.m. here, Cairo local time. It's a very good afternoon to our viewers and welcome to this afternoon's English News Bulletin. I'm Angie Meher, delighted to be in the company of Lamia Abdel-Sattar. It's a very good afternoon to you, Lamia.
Good afternoon to you, Angie. Good afternoon, everyone. And we'll start our news bulletin with the headlines. President Sisi honors families of police martyrs. Hamas frees 4 Israeli hostages to Red Cross in Gaza. And Lebanon army accuses Israel of procrastination in ceasefire withdrawal.
Welcome back. Now the details in full. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended a celebration marking the 73rd anniversary of Police Day. During these celebrations at the Police Academy headquarters at the new administrative capital, President al-Sisi laid a wreath of flowers at the Police Martyrs Memorial. The head of state honored the families of the police martyrs and bestowed the State Merit of Honor, the names of some martyrs in appreciation of their precious sacrifices for the sake of the country. President further bestowed merits of honor to a number of police officers in appreciation of their good work and performance. Speaking to the attendees, President al-Sisi vowed that Egypt would not forget any family which presents a martyr for the nation, thanking families of martyrs and calling on all Egyptians to protect the country. He also hailed the martyrs for sacrificing their souls for the sake of the homeland. President confirmed that Egypt is the oasis of peace in the region, noting that a recent Gaza ceasefire is paramount in Egypt's pivotal role at regional and international levels to maintain peace and security amid huge challenges. At the domestic level, President al-Sisi asserted the country is keen to improve people's lives. The celebration was also attended by the Minister of Interior, Mahmoud Tawfiq, Parliament Speaker Hanafi Kibali, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed al-Tayyib, His Holiness Pope Tawadros II, as well as the senior Interior Ministry officials. Egypt celebrates Police Day on the 25th of January every year in recognition of the bravery of policemen of 1952, in which 50 policemen were martyred and 80 others injured in the Suez Canal area, seeking to maintain the safety of the country.
Marking the 73rd anniversary of Police Day, First Lady Mrs. Intisar al-Sisi offered greetings to policemen on their day and said that sacrifices of the policemen is a source of security and stability. The
Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and Minister of Defense and Military Production, Abdelmajid Zakran, Saturday sent cables of greetings to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on the occasion of the anniversary of Al-Isra and Mi'raj of the Hijri year 1446. In its cable, Minister of Defense, on behalf of the Armed Forces, extended best wishes to the President upon such miraculous events that were dedicated to Prophet Muhammad. Similar cable of greetings were also sent from the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, Ahmed Khalifa. The Defense Minister also greeted the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, Mufti, and the Awqaf Minister on the occasion.
Interior Minister Mahmoud Tawfiq sent a cable of greetings to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on the anniversary of Isra and Mi'raj. In his cable, the minister wished Egypt, Arab and Muslim countries further progress and prosperity. Isra and Mi'raj is observed on the 27th day of the month of Rajab, the 7th month on the Hijri year.
Welcome back. Speaker of the Senate, Abdelwahab Abdelrez, sent on Saturday a cable of greeting to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on the occasion of Al-Isra and Mi'raj. In the cable, Abdelrez extended his greetings to the Egyptian leadership and people, wishing that further peace and prosperity prevails across the country. Al-Isra and Mi'raj is observed by Muslims on the 27th of the Hijri month of Rajab.
Hamas fighters on Saturday handed over to the Red Cross 4 Israeli women hostages under a truce deal in the Gaza war that's also expected to see a second group of Palestinian prisoners freed. Journalists witnessed the handover after the 4 were presented on a stage at a main square in Gaza City, where dozens of masked armed fighters had gathered earlier. On Saturday, Palestinian sources said Israel is to free 200 Palestinian prisoners in exchange for the hostages. The hostage-prisoner exchange is part of a ceasefire agreement. During the first 42-day phase that began Sunday, 33 hostages Israel believes are still alive should be freed in staggered releases in exchange for around 1,900 Palestinians held in Israeli jails. 3 hostages returned home on the first day of the truce. 90 Palestinians, mostly women and minors, were released in exchange. The deal's second phase is to see negotiations for a more permanent end to the war. Israel's genocide has killed at least 47,283 people in Gaza, a majority civilians, according to the Gaza Health Ministry.
United Nations Commission on Human Rights spokesperson Thamin al-Hassan said military operations in Jenin and its camps threatens the ceasefire deal in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian Health Ministry said an Israeli drone strike on a vehicle near the West Bank town of Kabaltseya killed 2 people, the 4th day of a large-scale Israeli operation in the nearby city of Jenin launched after the truce in Gaza. Israeli occupation military said an airstrike had hit a vehicle with what it said was a terrorist cell inside, but gave no further details. The military has been carrying out a major operation in Jenin, aiming to crack down on Palestinian fighter groups it says are backed by Iran, launched just 2 days after a ceasefire took effect in the war with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. At least 12 Palestinians have been killed in the operation, and Palestinian health officials said, including 2 claimed by the armed wing of Hamas. Israeli military said it had also arrested 20 wanted suspects and seized weapons.
The International Committee of the Red Cross said that Yemen's Houthi group freed 153 Yemeni prisoners on Saturday as a ceasefire largely holds after years of war. The Houthis said on Friday they will free dozens of prisoners on Saturday, calling the move a unilateral humanitarian initiative. The release comes after the Houthis detained 7 United Nations personnel on Thursday, prompting a protest from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the move and demanded the immediate release of the detainees. The Houthis have held around 20 Yemeni employees of the U.S. Embassy in Sana'a for the past 3 years.
To Lebanon, where the Lebanese army on Saturday said it was ready to deploy its forces in the country's south, accusing Israel of procrastination in its withdrawal in time for a deadline the following day. Under the terms of the Israel-Hezbollah ceasefire that came into effect November 27th, the Lebanese army is to deploy alongside UN peacekeepers in the south as the Israeli army withdraws over a 60-day period that ends Sunday. Hezbollah is to pull back its forces north of the Litani River, about 30 kilometers from the border, and dismantle any remaining military infrastructure in the south. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office on Friday said the military's withdrawal would continue beyond the Sunday deadline stipulated by the deal.
The United States said a ceasefire extension was desperately needed in Lebanon and that it was pleased the Israeli military has started withdrawing from central regions of the country. White House National Security Council spokesperson Brian Hughes said that all parties share the goal of ensuring Hezbollah does not have the ability to threaten the Lebanese people or their neighbors, adding that to achieve these goals, a short temporary ceasefire extension is urgently needed. Hughes said that they are pleased that the IDF has started the withdrawal from the central regions, and they continue to work closely with the regional partners to finalize the extension.
To the Russian-Ukrainian file, Ukraine's military said Saturday that Russia launched 61 drones and 2 missiles at the country in an overnight attack, adding that it shot down both missiles and 46 drones. It also said 15 other drones disappeared from radars without reaching their targets. Meanwhile, Russia's defense ministry said another Ukrainian attack involving more than 121 drones had targeted 13 of its regions, but they had repelled it. Ukraine's military said the attack hit a Russian oil refinery and a microchip factory in the Bryansk region.
Mexico has refused a request from U.S. President Donald Trump's administration to allow U.S. military aircraft deporting migrants to land in the country. U.S. military aircraft carried out 2 similar flights, each with about 80 migrants, to Guatemala on Friday. The government was not able to move ahead with a plan to have a C-17 transport aircraft land in Mexico, however, after the country denied permission. Mexico's foreign ministry, in a statement late on Friday, said the country had a very great relationship with the U.S. and cooperated on issues such as immigration. Trump's administration earlier this week announced it was relaunching the program known as Remain in Mexico, which forced non-Mexican asylum seekers to wait in Mexico until their cases in the United States were resolved.
Now moving to some business news, the Minister of Planning, Economic Development and International Cooperation, Rania Mashad, concluded her participation in the 2025 annual meeting of the World Economic Forum, held under the theme Collaboration for the Intelligent Age, in the Swiss city of Davos. The minister held a number of intensive bilateral meetings with heads of several UN agencies. International Cooperation Minister discussed joint cooperation efforts with the Director General of the World Trade Organization, where she underscored the importance of strengthening multilateral cooperation efforts amongst countries to boost global development. Minister also met Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development to discuss ways to enhance future cooperation.
The EU's top diplomat Kaja Kallas has issued an open invitation to the new U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to attend a meeting with the bloc in Brussels. The 27th EU ministers will discuss ties with the United States at one of the regular meetings in Brussels on Monday. Europe is scrambling to establish ties with the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump after he was sworn in for a second term this week. European Union countries are desperate to avoid trade tariffs from Trump and keep him on side as he pledges to seek an end to Russia's war with Ukraine.
And Wall Street, where stocks retreated as the market's latest rally lost steam, was the yen pushed higher after the Bank of Japan lifted interest rates. After a flattish open, major U.S. indices tumbled into the red. S&P 500 finished down 0.3% after closing at a record high earlier. In Europe, both London and Frankfurt stocks hit fresh record highs before turning lower. Paris also ended the day with a gain. In Japan, Tokyo's stock market dropped and the yen rallied after the Bank of Japan lifted borrowing costs to their highest level since 2008 and flagged further increases in the pipeline. In other Asian trading, Hong Kong gained nearly 2% and Shanghai also advanced following Trump's latest comments with regards to China.
To the exciting world of sports, Egyptian and Liverpool star Mohamed Salah has been voted Liverpool's Player of the Month for December. This is the fourth time the 32-year-old has clinched the award this season, following his remarkable form and goal-scoring exploits. Salah contributed 8 goals and 7 assists during his 7 appearances in the final month of 2024. As a result, he also rose to 4th on the Reds' all-time top goal scorers list. The Egypt international was on target for Arne Slot's side against Girona, Manchester City, Newcastle United, Tottenham Hotspur, Leicester City and West Ham United.
With that, ladies and gentlemen, we wrap up the afternoon's English news bulletin. You're in the company of myself, Angie Meher, and Lamia Abdul Sattar. Thank you very much, Lamia.
Thank you, Angie, and thank you everyone for watching.